السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أيها المشاهدون الأعزاء، مرحبا بكم إلى قناة تعلم الإنجليزية مع رضوان، أي قناة Learn English with رضوان. إن لم تنسوا، لما قمنا بتدريس وتعليم حروف الإنجليزية قلنا سنوفر المادة التي ستساعدكم في إتباع هذه القناة، والمادة التي ستساعدكم أيضا لممارسة كل ما تعلمنا في فيديو السابقة. فبإذن الله تعالى لقد حان ذاك اليوم، فإن شاء الله في هذا المقطع سأقدم لكم خلاصة مما درسنا. سأعود بعد ثواني قليلة. Hello viewers, welcome to Learn English with Ridwan's channel. You can join us by subscribing to our channel so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. So basically, this video encapsulates and epitomizes and summarizes all that we've learned in our previous lessons. So you can see from the first page we have A, B, C, D. We have F, we have H, we have K, we have J, and so on and so forth. I've already talked about uppercase and lowercase letters in our previous videos. So you can see we have an uppercase A, a lowercase a, uppercase B, lowercase b, and so on and so forth to Z. And you can also see we also have on the second page, the first page has been repeated on the second page, so we wouldn't say anything about that. And here also we have A for apple. Now in this case you will observe that words are representing each and every letter of the English alphabet. That is A for apple. It doesn't mean it is only apple that starts with A. Other different books may give you A for aeroplane, A for ant, A for aerospace, and so on and so forth. But they chose apple here because it's very simple, and that is what is basically used for all beginners level. So we have A for apple, B for ball. And you can also observe that we didn't say apple. We said what? We said apple. So A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, D for dog, elephant, flower, gun, house, and so on and so forth. So now let's move on to the next page and see what we have. Now, these are referring what capitals. These are referred to as what? Capital letters. Or you can choose to say uppercase letters. And we looked at this in our previous videos also. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, P, Q, we have R, we have V, W to Z. And these are what? Uppercase letters. We also have smalls, meaning lowercase letters, that is small letters, A, B, C, D. The same recitation as we have A, B, C, D to Z. We also have A, B, C, D to Z here. They are the same. You recite it the same way, but it's only the writing that differs. We also looked at two-letter words, that is joining two letters to be able to form a word with it, isn't it? So we have S or so, G or go, L or low. And we are able to to produce sounds and how to alter all these words from our mouth by saying S, and the sound for S is what? Is S. And we have O, and the sound is O. When we join the two, then we have what? So, and so on and so forth. We also looked at three-letter words. So we have cap, has, big, can, big, san, just like you are seeing on the screen. So the link to this book will be left in the description below. So I think that's just basically what we have here. And we also provided you people with another different book that will help you in your writing. Let me see. Alright, so this is the cover part of the book. We have alphabet and numbers book. So here you basically write your name, your class, and this is just an indication that everything contained in this book is what? Is A to Z. Instead of we having a content, we only have what? A to Z. But that's what the book basically contains. And we also have what? 1 to 10. So like we explained earlier on in our first listing, we have A, B, C, D, what each and every letter represents, and so on. And so we have apple, we have bag, we have cat, dog, egg, fish, girl, and taxis. We have sun, we have rabbit, queen, pen. And that is just by the way. So now this is where the main work lies. Now, if you look here, we have letters A to D, isn't it? The instruction here is what? Listen, point, and say. Then the last thing that they've written a full stop here, and they've written here what? Write. But the focus here is on you writing, not listening, because there is no audio in the book for you to listen to. And that is what we are planning on doing maybe in our next video, maybe. So our focus here is to what? Is only to write. Now, when you want to know how to pronounce these words, like I'm saying, we'll be leaving the links in the description below. So you need not to worry about those things. So we have A, and you find out that there are some short dashes provided. So what you only do is what? Is to trace through those things. You draw lines through this what? Through these short dashes, so that you complete a letter. So we have A, and you see that we have lines provided. And the essence of this line is to help you differentiate between upper and lower cases, because you can see this one is being written from a height. You can see that this is being written from a height, and this one is more shorter than that. So that is the essence of the word of these lines. So basically, this example I've given here runs through the book. So we have B, and you can also observe we have directional arrows, indicating that we don't just start writing letters like that. You don't write letters the way you want. Do you understand? So they've given you a directional arrow and even added numbers to them. They've added 1, they've added 2, meaning you are writing in this direction, 1, before you complete it with the second arrow. So that is the function of those directional arrows. So that's basically what we have on this page. So our concentration here is on writing of English alphabet here, and not pronunciation, pointing, or saying. You only need to learn how to write those English alphabets using the provided lines. And you can see from the next page also, we've been given an instruction. They said what? Trace and join. And what do you mean by tracing? Which means you are going to be drawing using the provided dot. You see that we have some small dots. They've been formed in such a way that you can see this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So the book here is assuming you know nothing. So you write as if you are drawing. That is the meaning. You write as if you are drawing. You delineate through them. So that is what we mean by what? Trace and join. What do you mean by joining? Now, after you've been able to trace through these letters you are seeing here, you are supposed to what? To link one letter to the other. Do you understand me? And that is what we mean by what? You are joining two things what? Together. So you link this to that. And you see this one is also linked to this, and this is linked to that, in that order. So when we take B here, we also have B. You trace it. After tracing through B, then you now link it to the letter B. If you are linking this way, you are going the wrong way. So you have to be very observant to see whatever thing you are tracing it to. So that is basically what is here. And you can see from here also we have find and write. So I want you to make a careful observation here. Here was trace and join, find and write. But we are still provided with letters, like we should trace. So the difference here is that here the book is assuming you know nothing. You trace, but here you are writing. Tracing means you are taking your time doing something like this, one after the other like this. So you do this and whatever thing you are drawing. But the second part, it says find and write. So we assume you now know how to what? How to write it, which means you have gotten used to the writing of these letters. So in the find and write, which means what you are going to do here is that what? You are just going to put down the letters without even thinking. So that is what we mean by what? Find and write. And how do we find the letters here? So we have A. It's already been joined for you. So we have A, join to A. Then you move down here. This is A. This is just like this one. So you do what? You write it without tracing. So you take note. We don't trace here, we write. The next page I think I've explained a similar example in our previous pages. So I wouldn't speak much here. Alright, this is another different thing. They say find and circle. Now, when you look carefully, you see that all these letters, there are some of these letters that are being superimposed with letters. What I mean by saying that is, you see that this E is being enveloped by a circle, which means a circle have been drawn around the E. And we also have another circle here. So what we do here is, now let's take the first line. When we take the first line, we have E. Another E, we have C, A, E, E, A, and so on and so forth. So you have to look for whatever thing that has been circled in the first row. We have E, F, G, H. All of them have been circled. Now moving horizontally, This is E. So if the next letter you are looking at is also E, then you circle it. When you look at C, C isn't E, so you don't circle what? You don't circle C. So you move on to the next one. We can't circle this because it isn't E. Then we move on to the next one. We have E, then we circle it. But that is what the instruction tells us to do. It says what? Find and circle. So this is basically what the instruction here is telling us to do. Then if you look at the number 2 instruction also, we have look and write. What do you mean by look and write? Yeah, you just look at it with your eyes and write. So let's go down and see what you're talking about here. E, F, G, H. E, F, G, H. E, F, G, H. So let's take something into consideration here. You will find out that this is a combination of whatever thing we've done in the previous pages. In the previous pages, you've been given instructions like what? Like trace and join. In this case, they brought the trace in here. But the thing is such a way that you are now come to fill in gaps. So let's see. E, F, G. It has been provided for you. H. E, F, G. In this case, I wouldn't prefer you tracing, and I would like you to what? To write it down, because you've already known how to trace. So we assume you now know how to write what? How to write G. So here, you write it, you don't trace it. Look and write. So you trace, you what? You write it here. Then we have H, E, F. Now you can see that this one, you are not even provided with anything. Very blank. Just to consolidate whatever this thing letter you are going to be writing. So we now have E, F, G. It has been provided for you. H, E, F, G. In this case, you run your what? Your pencil through it. H, E, F, an empty space, then you fill in the gap. G, H. So you write in G without tracing. And I think the example has been repeated throughout this particular instruction. That is looking and writing. All right, so let's move on to the next page and see what we have there. And I've also explained this one in our previous page. I talked about these directional arrows. You don't just start writing letters anyhow. Yeah, that is why these arrows have been provided for you to see how the letters are written, where to start from and where to end when writing a letter. We also have trace and join. Nothing much to say here, because we now know the meaning of tracing and we know the meaning of joining. So we have L in here. So we trace it, then join it. And what is that? Is it even L? No, I think that's I. So we have I here. You've been provided with dot. So you trace it. So they are assuming now you don't also know how to write what? I. So you have to draw your lines through them. You have to delineate them. Then you join them to their corresponding letters. So in this case, if I'm joining this I to this letter here, then I'm mistaken. That is the meaning. So you have to be very observant. Well, here, the book has been structured in such a way that, it wants you to be observant, be able to differentiate between letters. It's teaching you the letters as if you are looking at symbols. Do you understand that? So careful observation should be taken here also. So the same thing applies here. We have J. You trace the J, then you link the J to whatever corresponding letter it has. Then we also have here find and write. All right, find and write. They've given you, I think, are they even random letters? We have I, J, K, L, L, K. I think it's the same thing, just like the instructions we had earlier on. We have find and write. So we are now coming to look for it. He said what? I, J, K, L. What is this? We have L. With what? With some small dots around it. So what you do is that you use your pencil to pass through those things. So now we have something like, you see here, they've not provided a letter for you inside it. They've given an outline of the letter, but the letter itself hasn't been written in it. What you have to do is that you look at the outline and see which letter should fit into this. So looking at this, if I'm writing L here, it wouldn't correspond. So basically, the answer here should be what? Should be K. And that is it for it throughout. So if you look here also, we have I. So you correspond I to I, then you write I. We have J here. This outline is similar to this one, this written J. So you write what? You write J inside this outline, and so on and so forth. Moving on to the next page, and we've explained the same example in our previous pages also. So we have man, nut, orange, pen, and yeah, I think that's it. And we also have here, what have they written? Okay, on this page also we have numbers 1 to 10, isn't it? And from here also, you can see we have some directional arrows indicating where we should start our writing from and where we should end our writing. And we have also been provided with lines to also help us in our writing. In this case, we have nothing like uppercase numbers and lowercase numbers. All numbers are same. You write it the way you want it. And we've treated all these things in our previous videos. So to those who haven't watched it, you can check the links in the description below. It will link you to that place. And I think basically that's just everything we have for here. And I also recommend to this thing. I will recommend you to printing of this particular PDF. That is basically why we brought out this overall overview. And I have my copy here from A to Z. I have my copy here. I've printed everything out. You see that, and that's what I use for my students. So we have alphabet A to Z. This is the first page. Like I talked to you about, we have this, and you can see mine is colored. So I recommend you print it out colored. If you can't, there's no problem. You can use black and white, and there's no problem with that. But with this, it will be very helpful. And if you still want to, continue practicing, you can make more copies of a page, or for a particular point, maybe you are trying writing A. You've not become used to all the alphabets. It is only A that gives you difficulties. You can print and make more copies of a page that has A, so that you continue practicing till you become used to the letter. And also, this video, although these are videos are for ESL students, that is students learning English as a second language, you can also print it out and help your small kids from home. فإن شاء الله تعالى سنقف هنا. فلاحظت بلا أني كلمت كثير في الإنجليزية، والسبب في هذا أننا شرحنا كل ما علينا أن نعرف في فيديوهات الذي سبقنا فيها. لذلك كلمت معكم في الإنجليزية في هذا المقطع. فإن شاء الله سنقف هنا وإلى درسنا القادم. مع السلامة.